bar fight breaks out, and every eye in the room locks onto the man throwing punches. 10 seconds later, without anyone deciding to, those same eyes drift to the man who hasn't moved. Nobody in that room could tell you why, but every one of them just found out, without knowing it, who they should actually be afraid of. Most men think power sounds like a slammed door. Respect to them comes from the size of a reaction, from making sure everyone in the room knows they will not be disrespected twice. So they practice the stare. They rehearse the comeback for a fight that hasn't started yet, the way a boxer shadow boxes an opponent who isn't there. And for a while it works. A raised voice ends the meeting. A hard word ends the conversation. So the man calls that winning and keeps doing what worked the first 10 times. Nobody tells him it has an expiration date. It does. A man who threatens once and doesn't follow through gets tested again, usually by the same person, usually inside a month. A man who explodes over small things hands everyone around him the exact combination to his own lock. His anger stops being a weapon. It becomes a lever. And the people closest to him learn to pull it whenever it serves them, whenever they want him distracted, whenever they need someone else in the room to look unreasonable by comparison. Seneca wrote to a friend almost 2,000 years ago about the men who try to rule through fear. To be feared is to fear, he told him. No one has ever managed to terrify others and feel at peace himself at the same time. Sit with that. The man broadcasting menace isn't calm. He's checking constantly whether the fear is still holding, the way a landlord checks locks he doesn't trust. Fear you have to keep manufacturing was never power. It's a shift that never ends. None of it has to do with volume. What actually unsettles people is the absence of a lever. Most men can be read in 4 seconds. Flatter one and watch his posture change. Insult him and watch his jaw tighten. Ignore him and watch him invent a reason to walk past you twice. Every reaction is a piece of information, and once someone collects enough of yours, they know how to move you without laying a hand on you. Now go back to that bar. The man throwing punches gave the room everything it needed to predict him. His anger told them what he wanted, what scared him, what he'd do next. The still man gave them nothing. Epictetus put the question to his own students and then answered it for them. Who is truly unshakable, he asked. It is the man nothing outside his own will can disturb. That's the answer. Nothing outside a man's control can move him, so nothing outside his control can be used against him. And a room full of people who can't locate a man's weakness will start assuming he doesn't have one. That's the part most men never work out. A raised fist is a known quantity. The mind has a filed response for it, an exit built in advance. A man who refuses to react is not a known quantity, and nobody can rehearse a response to someone who won't hand them a script. The brain treats that gap the way it treats a sound. In the dark, it can't place. It doesn't matter that nothing is actually happening. The not knowing does the work the shouting used to do, except it does it for free, and it never runs dry. Keep chasing the version of power that runs on fear, and the bill comes due slowly, then all at once. Intimidation needs upkeep. Every threat has to be bigger than the last one, because the last one stops working. The second it becomes familiar, the same way a drug stops working at the same dose. Eventually the man runs out of road, and the people who spent years learning to read his moods start doing something worse than disrespecting him. They start managing him. They stop telling him things, because telling him things costs more than it's worth. They agree with him in the room and undo him the moment he leaves it. He calls their silence loyalty. It isn't. He ends up surrounded by people and alone in every room he walks into, and he never connects it to the decade he spent making sure nobody felt safe telling him anything true. If you've ever watched a man lose a room by getting louder in it, drop a comment with what happened. Andrew sat in on a low-stakes home poker game every other Friday, and one regular at that table played the same way every week. Loud raises, a running commentary on everyone's hands, trash talk, time to make the table doubt itself before the cards were even turned. It worked on most of them. Andrew never bit. He'd check the same way whether he was holding nothing or holding the best hand at the table, fold the same way whether he'd been bluffed or beaten fair, and never once explain a decision to a man who hadn't earned one. 3 hours in, the loud player pushed a bluff so big it should have ended the night, stared Andrew down, and waited for the fold everyone else would have handed him. Andrew called without blinking, turned over 2 pair, and said nothing at all. The loud man never got the read he'd been fishing for all night, and by the time he realized why, he'd already lost the table's attention for good. Seneca points to the same principle in a man he clearly worshipped. Marcus Cato spent a life inside civil war, and Seneca wrote that no one, in any of it, ever saw a change in him. Not in office, not losing an election, not on trial, not on a battlefield. When Cato lost a public vote, he didn't sulk or posture. He picked up a ball and played a game right there at the polling place, in front of the men who'd just rejected him. Later, watching Rome tear itself apart between Caesar and Pompey, he laid out exactly what he'd do no matter who won. If Caesar wins, he said, I kill myself. If Pompey wins, I go into exile. He wasn't performing courage for an audience. He was removing every lever either man could have used on him, in advance, out loud. When Caesar's army finally closed in, Cato kept his word. He denied the most powerful man in the world, the one thing that man actually wanted, the chance to be seen forgiving him. Ulysses Grant understood the same principle in the middle of a different war. During the Battle of the Wilderness in 1864, with Confederate lines pressing hard and his own officers rattled about what Robert E. Lee might do next, one panicked general rushed to Grant, convinced the whole army was about to be outflanked and destroyed. Grant, without raising his voice, told him to stop worrying about what Lee was going to do to them and start thinking about what they could do to Lee. That one unbothered sentence steadied that army faster than any speech could have, because panic is always looking for permission, and Grant simply refused to give it. Fiction knows this too, when it's honest about fear. Hannibal Lecter never has to raise his voice to be the most dangerous person in any room he's in. He asks quiet, polite questions while everyone around him waits for the explosion that never comes, and the waiting is worse than the explosion would have been. Saitama, from One Punch Man, unsettles enemies for the opposite reason and the same one. Nothing they throw at him changes his expression, even slightly, and an opponent who can't provoke a reaction starts to wonder what they're actually facing. None of this means shut everything down and walk around numb. Numbness is just fear wearing a calmer costume. It means stop handing people the information they need to run you. Stop explaining decisions to people who didn't earn the explanation. When someone attacks with heat, answer with the same 3 words you'd use on a slow Tuesday. Not more, not less. Let silence sit instead of rushing to fill it, especially when it's uncomfortable, because the man who fills it first is usually the one who needed it to end. Stop narrating your next move before you've made it. A man who telegraphs nothing gives nothing away, and a man who gives nothing away can't be handled. Marcus Aurelius wrote the whole idea down in one line, and he wasn't writing it for an audience. The mind free from passions is a citadel, he told himself, because a man has nothing more secure to retreat to. Keep performing your reactions for other people, and you're handing them the blueprint to your own walls. Stop performing them, and the walls build themselves without a single announcement. People will feel the shift before they can explain it. They won't know why the room feels different around you. They'll just know that it does, and they'll start choosing their words more carefully without ever deciding to. Thank you for watching. If you want to learn more raw, uncut wisdom, join me on Patreon. YouTube is shadow banning this kind of content. I'll see you soon.